Bob Arum has taken yet another swipe at Eddie Hearn. He says he doesn't believe in rematch clauses and that they are overused by Eddie Hearn. And obviously he's talking about the fact that the Lomachenko-Lopez fight doesn't have a rematch clause. But the Lomachenko-Lopez fight is an in-house fight. So from a promoter's standpoint, when you're matching two of your guys against each other, you're not too worried about a rematch clause because whoever wins, you get paid. And both guys are under contract with you. Whereas when you don't promote both guys, that's when you're more likely to feel like you want a rematch clause in the contract. Or the manager of the fighter at least wants a rematch clause in the contract. Bob Arum is, like most boxing promoters, opportunistic. And when he sees an opportunity to take advantage of the fact that boxing fans have very short memories, and he sees an opportunity to attack one of his rivals, somebody he deems a threat, because make no mistake about it, the reason that Bob Arum over the past couple of years now has been attacking Eddie Hearn so much is because Eddie Hearn is a threat to his business, both in America and in the UK. He's a rival. I mean, when Al Heyman came on the scene, Bob Arum's criticism was mainly leveled at Al Heyman. So now that Al Heyman is, I don't want to say drifted away, but he's not as prominent in boxing as he was when he first burst on the scene, because he was putting boxing on literally every single show and he had all these fighters that he'd taken from Golden Boy. And didn't Bob Arum try to sue him or something? So now that Heyman isn't as powerful as he used to be and Eddie Hearn's come on the scene in a similar kind of way, he's now attacking Eddie Hearn every opportunity he gets. Now, to be fair, as much as Bob Arum is being hypocritical here, because if you think Bob Arum hasn't had rematch clauses for many of his fighters over the years, then, you know, you're smoking some strong stuff. He absolutely has. I mean, when Manny Pacquiao fought Jeff Horn, there was a rematch clause, and that was Bob Arum, right? And there are many, many other examples. I mean, when Tyson Fury, Deontay Wilder rematch got made, again, clause in the contract. So Bob's just being Bob. But the point of rematches in general, are they good or bad for boxing, as in rematch clauses in the contract? He does have a point there. I think that it would be better. I'm not saying this is going to happen, or I'm not sure how practical it is from a business point of view, but from a fan point of view, I think it would be better if rematch clauses were confined to to voluntary world title defenses and unifications. But fights between two top 15 contenders perhaps shouldn't have mandatory clauses in the contract. Yeah, any two guys out of the top 15, if they fight each other, no rematch clause. If a guy in the top 15 fights a guy outside the top 15, maybe put a rematch clause. Okay? And world title eliminators and stuff like that, there might already be provisions in those contracts for no rematch clauses. Although actually, no, Povetkin and White was an eliminator, or it was for the interim WBC world title and there was a rematch clause in it. So yeah, maybe that could work. Maybe that would be better, because there are times from a fan perspective when you wish there was a rematch clause in the contract. For example, when you've had a controversial decision and you're thinking, no way can the judges and that particular fighter get away with that belt or that W. They need to run it back immediately. There's outrage and so on and so forth. But if there isn't a rematch clause in the contract, the other guy can just sail off into the sunset. So in situations like that, from a fan perspective, you'd like to see a rematch clause. But in other situations, for example, like the Fury Wilder rematch, we don't want to see this third fight, at least not yet, not immediately. So that's a situation where we're not happy about a rematch clause, you see? So from a fan perspective, it can be good and it can be bad depending on the circumstances. But let me know what you guys think about it in the comments below. I really don't need to quote Bob Arum here in this article. He said, talks about he doesn't believe in rematch clauses. He says Eddie Hearn puts a rematch clause in every contract because he's not confident in his fighter. Well, Eddie Hearn is a businessman, and most boxing promoters put rematch clauses in the contracts of their cash cow fighters. Most boxing promoters do this. Bob Arum's been doing it for many years. So I really don't know what he's talking about. It's just Bob being Bob. Let me know how you guys feel about it in the comments below.